Are you running a business between £1 to £50 million in turnover? You're busier than ever, revenue's up, but you perhaps feel further from people than ever before. You're tired in a way that rest just doesn't fix, and perhaps even quietly irritated by the team around you. Well, founders often think that that's them, that they're not delegating well enough, that they're not leading well enough, or perhaps they're not even grateful enough of those around them. Well, this isn't a personality problem. This is a structural problem, and structural problems have structural solutions. Hi, my name is Paul from Roston Operations. We work as an operating partner or as a fractional chief operating officer, COO, to help improve your workflows, make your business more efficient, more effective, in order to be able to create an asset out of that business. By creating an asset out of your business, we help you to acquire other businesses, seek investment, raise capital, but most importantly, we help you to exit on your terms when you're ready to do so. First, I want to talk about the loneliness nobody warns you about when you run a business. And this happens because the circle of people with the full context of your business shrinks as the business grows. In the beginning, it's the co-founder and a few close colleagues, and they knew everything. But now you're surrounded by people who report to you, who buy from you, who are impressed by you, but none of them are positioned to tell you the truth. Now, this isn't bad luck. It's authority and intimacy moving in opposite directions by default. So the fix for this is not to try harder to open up to your team. I mean, that places an unfair burden on them, to those that report to you, but to deliberately build a peer structure that doesn't naturally exist inside your company. So, for example, an advisory board or a founder peer group, perhaps a mentor with no real stake in the outcome of the business. So the goal isn't emotional support for its own sake. It's about restoring unfiltered, contextual feedback. Next, I want to talk about this guilt of trading time for growth that's not paying you back. In the beginning, your expectation was that perhaps as revenue increased, time was going to free up. But what you're finding is that more revenue equals more customers, more staff, more exceptions, more fires. Your calendar is now more crowded at double the size, not less. Now, this is not a discipline problem. It happens when output scales, but decision structure doesn't. If every meaningful decision passes through you, growth raises the stakes of staying stuck. So the fix then for this is decision rights mapping. It's not about more trust, and it's not about more hours. Think RACI diagram: responsibility, accountability, consulted, and informed. For every recurring decision category, someone other than the founder gets explicit written authority. Clear boundary of what does and doesn't need escalating. Now, this might be uncomfortable at first. It perhaps feels like you're losing control, but it's the only mechanism that converts revenue growth into time back. It changes who the business depends on for movement. Next, I want to talk about this quiet resentment you might have towards a team that should just get it. Now, the problem feels personal. I've explained this 3 times. Why isn't it sticking? The frustration is real, but it's aimed at the wrong target. Standards live in the founder's head, not in any document or process. The team isn't failing to meet a standard. They're failing to guess one. So the gap is in the system, not a gap in the people. The fix for this then is to make the implicit explicit. Write down what good actually looks like for the recurring important things. A playbook, a checklist, a worked example, a defined outcome, instead of a vague expectation. Now, this sounds too simple to matter, but it changes the whole dynamic. People can rise to a standard they can see, but not one that only exists as a feeling in someone else's head. Next, there is this grief of losing this strategic version of yourself. The problem is a quiet sense of loss. This version of you who used to think in years, not hours. You used to get excited about where the business was going. Now you dread where it might be going wrong today. This is not about dramatic burnout, but a slow erosion of bandwidth, exception by exception, issue by issue. Eventually, there's nothing left for the big picture. So the fix for this doesn't come back to trying harder to carve out time for strategy. It returns when the operational structure starts absorbing the exceptions instead of escalating them. You build the scaffolding, clear ownership, clear standards, clear decision rights. and you catch the problems at the level where they occur rather than routing them upwards. Strategic capacity isn't protected with willpower. You get it back when the system stops consuming it. If any of this sounds familiar, the loneliness, the guilt about your calendar, the resentment towards a team that should just get it, that grief for the version of you who used to think in years, you don't need to carry it on your own, and you don't need to figure out the structure by trial and error. Most businesses never grow past their owner. Structural problems don't fix themselves, they just get bigger as you scale. Book a call with me, Paul at rostonopex.com, or click the link nearby, and let's have a proper look at where the structure in your business is failing you and what it would look like to fix it.